And let's jump into our next game. Teechu has, as a bit expected, chosen to go with the Face Hunter against Miracle Rogue, which has traditionally been an excellent draw. Teechu actually has replaced all of his cards into a excellent hand, and Dominus doing much the same.
So Teechu is going to have a lot of early pressure. Dominus just going to pass his turn 1. It's going to be a while before he's able to really do anything with that hand. Okay. Teechu, on the other hand, draws even a second Mad Scientist, so if he wants to, he can just go turn 1, Mad Scientist, turn 2, Mad Scientist, which can be very, very annoying to deal with.
That's right. He had a lot of different ways to play it with Mad Scientist or even turn 1 Leper Gnome, Web Spinner. Chooses to play this to play around the dagger a bit more.
Dominus picks up a Backstab, and he decides not to play it now. The reason why is because he wants to combo with the SI7 next turn. It is actually going to work out, but it's going to leave his opponent potentially with 2 traps. Teechu could play both of the 1-drops, but he decides just to play another Mad Scientist. This is going to let Dominus clear both of them out.
Yep.
Which he's happy to do, but it does mean that, you know, there's a lot of resources still in play.
All right, well, the first one wasn't Explosive Trap. If it were, Dominus would feel really happy about it.
Yeah.
So, unfortunate random outcome there. And Teechu got the order in Freezing Trap and then Explosive Trap.
It was really strong sequencing from Dominus. Unfortunately for him, he's not rewarded for the correct sequencing. It just sort of plays out with both traps staying in play. So Teechu now on his turn has both traps. He doesn't really have a really great play this turn, so he decides to just play the Buzzard and sort of cycle it for 1.
Right. It's being basically used as a Novice Engineer type role right now. It's really difficult to get Valley out of the Buzzard against the Miracle Rogue.
Dominus reached for his Fan and Eyes immediately at the beginning of his turn, but he's sort of considering what the traps are going to be and wondering if that's going to change anything. Now that he has attacked into freezing, he probably will just play the Fan.
And cool. Boom, Explosive Trap to not to that much effect.
So he could just play a 2-2 Edwin, but that's not exciting. So he does just decide to Fan, and he's going to have to decide if he wants to attack with a dagger. He may or he may not. The 1 damage is not that relevant, so he decides to hold on to it in case there's more traps to break.
Right. Really important to hold on to it because this Face Rogue runs many cards which have 1 health. So if you don't have to use the 2 mana to do it, that's really good for you.
Now that we're back on the Hunter's turn, we have the 3rd King Crush of the tournament off of Web Spinner, which is really crazy. I don't know what the odds on that are, but you know, I'm sure someone out there is crunching the numbers and, you know, bust out your calculator and figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, we have some Blizzard guys over here at PAX. They've got their Blizzard booth. Maybe they've arranged Web Spinner to be a bit more exciting this time around.
The card already is really exciting on its own, I think. I was mentioning earlier, it's actually one of my favorite cards. Certainly among my favorite from Nax.
All right, Miracle Rogue doing really well. Entering the Hunter's turn 5, he's above. I think the general idea of when Face is doing well is if you can get your opponent to like 15. Ooh. We've got the Hunter's Mark being drawn and 2 cards being drawn with the Buzzard. That's excellent. Teechu cannot contain his excitement.
The cursor going a little bit crazy there. Perhaps he was thinking maybe he shouldn't use the Hunter's Mark, but I can't see a reason why not. So he does just sort of bash in there. And at this point, he's probably going to hold on to his bow because he's drawn 2 traps. So he is at a relatively healthy 29 life. Dominus has picked up Leroy, so he's got Leroy, Shadow Step, double of this. And he's probably trying to figure out how he can start chipping away so that he can actually use that burst to finish off the game.
Right, one of the big things when playing Miracle Rogue is just counting up your damage and seeing how you can reverse back up into that. So right now with the Leroy and the Shadow Step, that's 12. You've got 8 from the Eviscerate. So he needs to find a way to deal 9 damage.
Right. And he's just going to take out the Buzzard, which makes a lot of sense. And this does leave him at 17, and he's got a Gnomish Inventor. So he does have a long road and, a lot to climb. An Animal Companion is a good draw. Leok, unfortunately, not the best get on it. He's trying to attack with it again. That one's not a huffer, buddy. I'm really sorry.
Yep. From Teechu's point of view, he's got that King Crush crushing in for 8 damage on turn 9, so he needs to find a way to deal only about 9 damage. 8 damage now.
Snake Trap
7,
comes in, and he decides for Snake instead of freezing. So he's really hoping that his opponent doesn't have any more AE.
Or even more importantly, he decided Snake instead of Hero ability, which looks like his way of chipping in the damage.
That will probably make it look most like Freezing Trap. So if he is going to sort of trick his opponent into activating a Snake Trap, now would be the time that it's most likely to happen. With that in mind, it's probably a pretty reasonably good play. Dominus will certainly consider at least attacking the boar with his dagger to clear it out.
Well, but that'll create 3 snakes.
But he doesn't know that.
Well, he does now that he attacked with the Gnomish.
Okay. So he knows that he does know that it's not freezing.
It's going to be pretty tough. Looks like he's going to have to use one of the eviscerates to kill the 2/4, just to make sure he stays alive for a bit longer.
There is no punish for leaving the boar up in terms of risk of, I guess, Houndmaster in this deck being the more face.
I mean, there is kill command, though.
There is kill command, so that is true. That kill command, is activated by the beast being in play.
Right. In fact, I think with kill right now, one of the rogue's fears right now is that there is kill command. Let's see, that would be 5, 6, 9, 11 damage, and then like double kill command wins or kill command Leroy. Fortunately, Teechu doesn't have it.
He was trying to. I think Dominus was most trying to figure out if he should attack the face with the dagger or not.
Ah, I see.
And whether or not he'll be able to remake a dagger soon.
Teechu giving the audience a bit of a foreshadowing. King Crush, I think, is going to be the finisher this game.
It's possible. He's really close to winning next turn, depending on what he draws. And if he doesn't win next turn, there may be an opening for Dominus to finally get through the damage that he needs. This Azure Drake will be doing something this turn, at least, that we know of. Unfortunately, Dominus doesn't have a great answer even to just the Wolf Rider, though.
Yeah, and even more importantly, it doesn't have an answer to Snake Trap. And the Snake Trap will end up doing quite a bit of damage in the case that it's triggered.
He has to pretty much avoid the Stone Tusk Boar for now until forever, until he finds a good answer for the snakes.
What he can do is he can do Eviscerate and SI7 Agent to clear both off without attacking either of them.
Yes, he could. I think he will very strongly consider that. He can do it with the 5 mana SI
something
as well.
Right, right. And then the only way to activate that is with Deadly Poison, which is okay. Deadly Poison. Oh no, he doesn't have. He can't play both unless he plays Shadow Step, which seems poor right now.
I think it's really unlikely for him to play Shadow Step at this point. Now, this Freezing Trap triggering does give Teechu another weapon charge. He does get 1 more durability on there. So the likelihood for Teechu to win the game within 2 turns is very high. The potential to win next turn is there, but it would be on the back of something like Leroy or Huffer or something like that.
That's right. Dominus has got to be thinking of the same thing, that, well, he's got me the next turn, so I can't really clear. And I like this. He's playing to win. Like, sure, this looks like it loses more times and you can be safe to clear the board, but this sets it up so that he's got a serious chance of winning the next turn.
I really like this line of play. I think that Dominus realizes that his opponent has very limited resources. An Iron Beak Owl comes out, which is not going to do it.
Oh man, has Dominus found the path to victory?
This was a very, very difficult game to win if he does win it. And some very strong play, really sort of hanging on by a thread. Teechu's start this game was really strong. He never found the punishing charge damage forever to follow it up.
Or like a kill command here. That would have been critical.
But Dominus has found the win. He's going to be crashing in with all of his minions, including Leroy. And that's going to end up doing it. He's going to take the game with Miracle Rogue against Hunter. Against not even your average Hunter, but really this more difficult to deal with.
Yeah, that is not what Teechu wanted to do, because that was his counter deck to the Miracle.
That was his main counter. So now he's really going to have his back up against the wall, dealing with this Miracle deck. when all he's got left is this Druid.